First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
An officer-involved shooting left a man dead in Norfolk. Tonight, find out why he pulled the trigger and remembering September 11th.
I think it's good to go back and kind of see what has happened and come about with some of the survivors who made something positive come out of it.
As we approach the 10-year anniversary, a Virginia Beach man looks back at the day terrorists attacked. Plus, strong rip currents keep Virginia Beach lifeguards busy.
One rescue that involved about 12 victims.
We'll take you to the ocean front where red flags are flying. But first, we are tracking some severe weather to the west.
Right now, parts of our viewing area are under a tornado watch. Don Slater is standing by now in the Super Appleton Weather Center with those details. Don.
And we want to show you what's going on into the area now. We've had some rain into the peninsula. South side, some points to the south have just looked a lot like rain, so we haven't seen as much there. Suffolk certainly did, and points inland from there. Here's a look at Super Appleton Live, and that's tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. And technically, it does extend all the way on up into the peninsula, where we have seen, again, the thunderstorms move on through. Now, a closer view of things showing you what's going on in terms of the heavy rain moving on through the peninsula. You can see it moving through Suffolk a little earlier as well, and it's moving on up toward the eastern shore. We've got 160 lightning strikes in the screen right now. Most of them are off to the west, but quite a few off the northern neck right now toward Tangier Island, and we are seeing again some scattered thunderstorms right along the Chesapeake Bay side of the eastern shore. So again, that action is going to be continuing, but no warnings are in effect. We got one warning in effect for the extreme western portion of our viewing area, and that's western Southampton County. Now also, Hurricane Katia, we're going to talk about that, just show you what's going on with that thing and allay any fears you might have. It's going to pass well offshore Thursday during the day. We're very, very likely to see some waves off of that. We'll also tell you about a brand new tropical depression way off into the eastern Atlantic. Lots of stuff to cover with our weather, but basically warm. We'll tell you about it in just a few minutes.
A police-involved shooting investigation is underway in Norfolk, and one man is now dead. This was the scene this morning on Fort Worth Avenue in the Denby Park area. Police responded to Southwind Apartments after receiving a call that someone was tampering with a car. Police say the victim was 20-year-old Kenny Smallwood, Jr. 10 on your side's Melanie Woodrow has been following the story all day. So, Melanie, what happened when police arrived?
Well, police are now telling us just moments ago that that car that Smallwood was tampering with was stolen from Hampton. Apparently, when a police officer responded here to the scene, Smallwood did not cooperate. According to police, he even tried to back into that responding officer, and that is when that officer opened fire. The victim's mother, distraught as she learned her son was dead.
He's a cool guy, down-to-earth type person. Good guy. Yeah, he was only 20. Only 20.
Chris Evans had no explanation for what his cousin, Kenny Smallwood Jr., was doing here this morning.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Police said he was tampering with this gold Chrysler. Police spokesperson Chris Amos said the responding officer parked behind the Chrysler and began shouting commands at the suspect.
Suspect throws his vehicle in reverse, striking the police car, pushing the police car onto the officer. That's when the officer fires at the suspect.
Police have not said how many shots were fired. Neighbor Brian Coleman described how many he heard.
I heard about 10 shots and probably about a little bit before 7. I was in the bed.
According to police, the suspect kept driving after the officer fired at him, ultimately crashing into another vehicle nearby.
All the broken glass here at the scene where the car stopped, those windows were broken out by officers responding to get to the suspect.
First responders pronounced the suspect dead on the scene, but as of this afternoon, they were still working to determine his cause of death. And just moments ago, police did in fact release that cause of death. They say that it was a gunshot wound. They're not saying where the suspect, Smallwood, was shot, but they are saying that he was not shot in the head, as some of his family members believed had happened. That's what they were telling us out here earlier this morning. Now, police are also telling us that they found some items in this stolen car that appeared to have been stolen from another vehicle that was parked here where this incident occurred. They say that Smallwood had a history of larceny and auto theft. By the way, the police officer involved in all of this was not injured. He is now on administrative duty, which is standard procedure in a police-involved shooting. Reporting live in Norfolk, Melanie Woodrow, 10 on your side.
Thank you, Melanie. By the way, that was the third officer-involved shooting in the past month, the second one in Norfolk. An assistant Commonwealth's attorney for the city of Portsmouth was killed in an accident in Chesapeake yesterday. Police say 42-year-old Elizabeth Fitzwater died in the head-on crash. Happened around 4 o'clock on Bruce Road near Western Branch High School. Police say Fitzwater ran off the road, overcorrected, came back onto the path of a pickup truck. 2 other people were airlifted to the hospital, including a 4-year-old girl.
Strong rip currents due to Hurricane Katia are causing problems at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. 10 on your side's Allie Lucia spent the day down there. Allie, pretty dangerous conditions out there, huh?
Yeah, Nicole, a good day for surfing, not a good day for swimming. High tide hit about an hour ago, and I just checked with the lifeguard on duty. No reports of rescues today, which means people are taking those red flags very seriously. This is just one of 30 rescues that kept Virginia Beach lifeguards busy on Labor Day.
One rescue that involved about 12 victims.
While everyone was pulled to shore safely, the red flags will be flying all week because of the rip currents.
We had multiple lifeguards going in, supervisors going in. We even had surfers on the outside that were surfing come in and help out.
The rip currents stem from one storm.
But really right now our swell is being caused by Katia.
Tom Gill, captain of the Virginia Beach Lifesaving Service, says rip currents make for uneasy waters.
Increased wave height, increased winds are the main causes of rip currents because they break down the sandbars in areas that are usually pretty stable.
Careful! Those waves are keeping Becky Weisgerber and her twin boys out of the ocean.
Whoa! We're not in the water that much, just a little bit at a time just to cool off and get the sand off.
Becky says she can feel the effects of the current conditions.
It's actually, it dips inside the sand, so the sand level isn't even, so you kind of have to make sure you're careful when you're walking in.
While the effects of Katia will be seen all week in and near the water,
41 stand staffed until 11 today.
with a small staff in September, Tom suggests tourists like Becky and her boys use the water wisely. Now, the lifeguards are only out in the resort area, which is basically along here on the ocean front from 1st Street to 42nd Street. Tom Gill also wanted to let you know, if you do get caught in a rip current, just let it ride parallel along the wave, and then if you do, sorry about that, if you are out in the water and are concerned, that's when you can call for a lifeguard. Nicole?
Go chase them down right now, Allie. Go get them.
I'm going to go right now.
All right. Thank you.
After 12 hours of waiting, Hatteras Island residents are slowly making their way back home. The ferry from Stumpy Point to Rodanthe shut down yesterday after a large piece of equipment broke the ramp to get on board. Crews worked through the night to have it fixed. We're told that they took their first load of residents back to the island at 6:30 this morning.
Newport News police arrested a suspected bank robber at a local hotel. Investigators say this man robbed the BB&T on Jefferson Avenue at around 9 this morning. They found a suspect about an hour later at the Extended Stay America down the road. Police arrested 34-year-old Lamont Brevard. He's behind bars tonight on no bond.
Hundreds of thousands of children across Hampton Roads went back to school today. As you can see, the roads were pretty busy in Virginia Beach this morning. School buses definitely back in action. We spoke with Princess Anne High School students before they walked in this morning. Many said they were still tired, while others say they're raring to go.
I was actually pretty excited. Yeah, I was tired, but it was my first day here at Princess Anne, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get it over with. This is my junior year, so maybe this year will be fun. But overall, I don't think everyone's really looking forward to it. Everyone's just like, okay, let's get this over with.
I remember those days. Remember when you head to work tomorrow, don't rush on the road. Give yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going. Also remember, pedestrians always have the right of way.
Coming up, one woman's fight to save her home.
The city of Norfolk has said, chop up this boat and get it out of here. Now the owner's saying, wait a second, that's my home. And she's telling her story to us. That coming up.
Then it was his second day on the job at the World Trade Center when an airplane crashed into the South Tower. Tonight, this local 9/11 survivor tells 10 on your side what happened that day, how it's changed him 10 years later. A
Virginia Beach man who survived the 9/11 terror attack in New York plans to attend 10th anniversary events there this weekend.
Well, he was on the second day of his job as a financial analyst at Morgan Stanley. Sit on your sides, Ava Hurdle reports it's a day he'll never forget.
Ryan Delatese recalls arriving at the World Trade Center for an early seminar that was on the 61st floor of the South Tower. Then he later headed upstairs.
I took an elevator to the 81st floor to get my security badge, and there was flames and fire and chunks falling from every side, every angle.
He called home to tell his mother something had happened and decided to get out.
A guy got out of the elevator, screaming to get out of the building. So we all got into the elevator. We all got into the stairwell. We went down.
A group of people, he says, holding hands, some crying.
Walking very methodically as a group. And it didn't hit our building until I was already down to floor 22 before it hit our building.
The stairwell then separated from the wall as the group walked down to the first floor where the doors did not open, so they moved to the mall area below.
When we got out there, it was just, there was no electricity, but there was everybody helping, paramedics, firefighters, police officers, directing you to go out through the North Tower.
He helped a diabetic elderly woman, but she needed chocolate to continue walking, so they ducked into a store where the owner locked the door behind them.
As he did that, the first tower fell. And so we went behind the counter and stayed there, and the impact blew our windows out, which is kind of like what saved us.
Andy says it's that positive outcome that makes him want to visit with other survivors of one of the worst days in their lives. Ava Hurdle, 10 on your side.
Ryan says that since the terror attack, he left New York and returned to Virginia Beach to open his own tax consulting business.
So many stories from people, how their lives changed from that day. It really affected all of us.
Sad.
Well, in the years after September 11th, many local troops faced the battlefield for the first time. Some of them had a hard time dealing with what they saw. Tonight, hear about a new treatment to help them with PTSD.
Then Lee might not be a tropical storm anymore, but it's still wreaking havoc in the southeast. We'll show you the damage it's caused so far.
And some of us are getting the rainfall from that. Is that going to be continuing? We'll tell you all about that. Update Super Duper 10 Live for you in just a couple of minutes.
At least 3 people were killed when a man opened fire inside an IHOP restaurant in Nevada. Happened around 11 this morning in Carson City. 5 of the 9 people who were shot were members of the Nevada National Guard. 2 of them died. Deputies say that the suspected shooter shot himself. He died at the hospital. Police have not released his name or a possible motive.
Drought conditions and strong winds continue to fuel out-of-control wildfires across parts of Texas. Thousands are now left homeless by the fires. 10 on your side's Jay Gray has more.
The fires and the fight continue.
Well, we got over 50 fires across the state of Texas right now.
Already in the grips of a record drought, the Lone Star State is kindling for dozens of out-of-control wildfires. Seen from space as innocent plumes of smoke dotted across a barren landscape, but in reality, they're walls of flames destroying everything in their path.
The magnitude of these losses are pretty stunning. Some 1,000 homes that we've lost across the state. We're over 100,000 acres.
Ground now charred, homes turned to ash.
Lance's house is gone. Nola's house is gone. Dave and Heather's is about half gone.
Gone, too, is Monica Turner's home.
We just found out that our house has been destroyed. Right now, I'm sitting and praying, hoping to God. I don't know, because I don't know right now.
It's that not knowing that's the hardest part for 5,000 families forced to evacuate.
I'm looking at the fire right now, and I'm thinking, gosh, that could be my property that just went up in smoke.
Fighting to save those properties, crews battled the blaze from the air and on the ground. But it may take Mother Nature to help gain the upper hand.
So as long as the winds stay down a little bit, the firefighters will have a better chance of keeping the fire under control.
Control so desperately needed to stop more life-changing loss. Jay Gray, NBC News, Bastrop, Texas.
The remnants of Tropical Storm Lee are still causing problems across the country. Slow-moving storms dumped 10 inches of rain on Jackson, Mississippi, prompting flash flood warnings. Flooding is also reported in Louisiana, Tennessee, and Alabama. And we may have some severe weather this way.
Yeah, but hopefully not too close to this way.
Yeah, well, not close to where we are anyway, but the peninsula, you've seen some brief heavy rain. Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, Eastern Shore's getting it right now. But no warnings in effect, so there's nothing really threatening. Yes, we've got some heavy rain. Yeah, it can be dangerous in terms of driving in it. And we're seeing a little lightning out of it as well. But again, no warnings. Here's a look at what's going on right now into the area. We've got scattered rainfall moving very rapidly northeastward through the area. You can see it moving on through the peninsula, Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, and mostly out over the bay, but touching into Accomack County especially right now. And it's likely to continue on up into Maryland. So things are going to be a little quiet for a while in terms of any threat of severe weather into the area. Now, we still do have that tornado watch in effect. You can see it on the corner of your screen, but technically it extends all the way on up into the peninsula. And you can see how things are riding northeastward and are likely to continue to do so. Now, here's the lightning with all of this. There is some lightning on off in the northern portion of this, mostly out over the bay, but we are seeing some widespread rain, scattered rain though, over Northampton County, southern Accomack County, along the eastern shore, lighter rain toward the Reedville and Kilmarnock area. That moved through heavy earlier, and right now we're starting to see some rain pick up southwest of Ahoskie up toward Emporia, so we'll watch these as these lift on northeastward in the next couple of hours. Now, how much rain have we had? Parts of the area, quarter of an inch, half an inch, more than that, up to about an inch. It's all very quick, very heavy rain moving on through. Some of the heavier rain, though, it really started raining last night out west. You can see 2-3 inches and more into the Roanoke area, up toward Lynchburg, and again, in between, all areas in between. So again, some big rain going on there, but it's for some of us, yes, we had some good-sized rain move on through, but most of us not all that much. Now, here's a look at what's going on with Katia, and also we got a brand new tropical depression out there, and this is likely to become Tropical Storm Maria in the next several days. 35-mile-an-hour winds right now. There's where it is Sunday afternoon, a Category 1 storm. Now, the thing about this is early in the forecast cycle, so we don't know exactly what this one is going to do. As far as Katia, this one's going to miss us. We're very likely to see some very big waves out of this in rough surf as that passes us by during the day on Thursday. There's where it is Thursday afternoon at 200-mile-an-hour winds, and then it moves east and northeast and then eastward on out to sea. And the forecast track models, as usual, again, pumping it way on out to sea, so we're not looking too bad with that one. Rainfall into our area, you betcha. Remnants of this storm Lee right into here, just plain stuck, but all the moisture has started to lift on northward. On up to New England where they don't need it. Now, it's not huge, but any rain up there is too much rain for that part of the world. And for us, we've got some scattered showers, perhaps a rumble or two of thunder into the area. But again, some brief heavy downpours are entirely possible out of some of this rainfall moving on through. Mostly cloudy right now. Temperatures into the 70s, low to mid 80s, really kind of all over the place, all the way on up to 90 in Chesapeake, depending on whether you've had rain or not. And look at this into the Richmond area, 69 degrees, 74 in Wakefield, but 90 in Chesapeake, and we hit 93 in Norfolk today. Overnight, we're going to drop on down, slight chance of rain, but I think the rain should tend to die out off during the evening hours and perk back up again tomorrow afternoon. Once again, around 87, 86 on Thursday. A decent shot at some rain, less of a chance of rain coming up for Friday. Temperatures warm, very warm tomorrow, and then starting to drop from there.
Well, Nicole, you know, being a journalist is definitely an exciting job. It can be dangerous sometimes.
Yeah.
It's probably not the most dangerous.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make the top 10. We'll tell you which ones, though, did.
Then mortgage help. Grab a pen and paper. 10 is on your side with how you can get federal money to pay for your home at 5:30. Researchers say they've discovered a new way to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. Scientists say that people with PTSD appear to have lower levels of a brain chemical known as serotonin 1B. They believe that targeting this deficiency with drugs may be a way to specifically treat the disorder. Currently, doctors use antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs to treat PTSD, but they don't always work.
Fewer Americans are lighting up. A new report from the CDC found there are 1.5% less smokers now than 5 years ago. Researchers say the decrease is better than expected, but not as fast of a decline as seen in previous years.
Although we've been successful in the last 40 years in cutting smoking in half, we really don't want to wait another 40 years to get down to the point where smoking is just a minor public health nuisance.
The report also finds the majority of smokers aren't having as many cigarettes a day as they used to. The government is giving away money. Find out what you'll have to do to get it. Torn apart just before Hurricane Irene, a Virginia Beach couple forced to leave without their beloved golden retriever. From heartache to happiness. Find out how they got reunited. New at 5:30.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, you just let me know.
Hello, test 1, 2. Mm-hmm.
This is getting crazy. We got too much stuff going on at the same time. Okay, crap.
Same color, girl.
There it is.
Get there, that Facebook there, Nicole.
What you want me to tell your constituents?
Tell them that
Check, check, 1, 2, check, check.
busy preparing the newscast.
The IRS is offering money to anyone willing to turn in tax cheaters. Well, the Internal Revenue Service is offering a cut on the proceeds, and the more the IRS gets from that lawbreaker, the more you get in your pocket. There is one thing, though, that we should probably mention. There's no protection from retaliation, and the earnings are taxable. Fishermen may find a catch to be the deadliest job. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more fishermen lose their lives on the job than any other profession. Loggers and airplane pilots have the second and their third most deadly jobs, followed by farmers and miners. But some seemingly dangerous occupations like firefighting and driving a tractor are relatively safe, even safer than being a car mechanic. The safest jobs are all of secretarial work, sales, and librarian. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.